Hello Year 10, we are actually quite close to being done with the content side of this unit, so well done for getting this far. Today we are going to look eastwards, and to start off with I'd like you to, if you can, stick in this picture, if not just bullet point down some notes, and looking at this map of Europe and using what you know about what Hitler wanted and what he had done up to 1939, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of Joseph Stalin, the leader of the communist Soviet Union. And I want you to think about what he would have been feeling watching this Nazi growth of territory that is getting closer and closer to his borders. And then looking at that map and thinking about what Hitler wanted to do and what he had got away with so far, what do you think he wanted to do next? Big hint here, Lebensraum. Okay, and then also try and think about what problems there might be with doing these things. And that ties us nicely into what we are looking at today, which is how significant the Nazi-Soviet Pact was as a cause of the Second World War. And really there's two main objectives: to know why Britain and France abandoned the policy of appeasement, and to understand why the USSR, Soviet Union, and Nazi Germany signed this pact. A pact, as a reminder, is basically a friendship treaty or an agreement to not attack each other. But firstly, we need to think about why Britain and France abandoned appeasement, and there are three key reasons really. Firstly, following the events that we looked at in the last lesson, in March 1939, Hitler broke the agreement that was made at Munich and annexed the rest of Czechoslovakia. And as a result of all this build-up, Britain and France had really started to rearm, and they'd started to catch up with Nazi Germany's military capabilities. And they had also realised that Poland would be Hitler's next target, and they really needed to get an alliance with the Soviet Union. So please copy that into your books. You can do it in your own words, by the way, or if you want to do it as a spider diagram or something, you can choose the format as long as you've got that information in your books. And then for the next bit, you're going to need two things really: this document that will be attached to FOG and this video clip. And I want you to use those two things, the video clip and the information sheet, highlighting the key points, and then take some notes. Again, entirely up to you what format you choose to do this in, but I want you to cover these three things as your success criteria. I want you to explain why these two nations would be unlikely allies. I want you to identify the reasons why Hitler and Stalin signed this pact, and I want you to support your reasons with examples. Okay, think sped. And if you do, please try and highlight good examples of sped as well. As I've said to you from the start, your books are the best revision resource that you can possibly have. Then once you've done all that, I want you to take some notes down, firstly on why the Anglo-Soviet talks failed, and to do so you can put it into the form of this anagram here, SCAB. Firstly, there was suspicion. Chamberlain did not trust Stalin, who was a communist and dictator, didn't trust the Soviets on their territorial ambitions, and the Russians likewise felt that Britain wanted to trick them into war against Germany. And you also had the spectre of Poland, who did not trust that the Russians, who wanted to send troops into Poland, would ever actually leave. Then you've got the choice aspect of things. Britain could not realistically send troops to fight in Poland, so if Stalin supported Britain, he would end up fighting a war in Poland on Britain's behalf, or at least that was what Stalin believed. On the other hand, from Stalin's perspective, despite their huge ideological differences, which we will look at in more depth in the next lesson, Hitler was promising him peace, half of Poland, and a sphere of influence over Eastern Europe. And thirdly, there was the appeasement factor. After Munich, Stalin was convinced that that Britain would break its promise to Poland, and that would leave Russia fighting Hitler alone. And finally, Britain's delays, in that at first Lord Halifax refused to hit Stalin's offer of a meeting. There was lots of dithering and delaying, and even when we did send an official, there was no decision making abilities on behalf of that official, and Stalin just thought this was a bit of a joke and not worth bothering with. Copy that into your books, whichever form you wish to do it in, spider diagram, bullet pointed notes, table, whatever you feel comfortable with. Then I want you to take some notes based on why they actually signed it. So your memory word for this is FUG. Firstly, time to prepare for war. Stalin did manage to buy himself an extra 18 months to build up the Soviet military resources, particularly useful as Stalin had just conducted a massive purge of the Soviet Union's military generals in the years leading up to this, and the Soviet Union was very ill-equipped for a large-scale war. Stalin had hopes to gain and was sure that Russia could only gain from a long war in which Britain, France, and Germany exhausted themselves. He basically hoped that they would fight each other to death and that the Soviet Union could sort of turn up and pick up the spoils. Stalin was unhappy with Britain. He was insulted by our slowness to negotiate and did not trust us. And finally, there's the Germany aspects, which are down to reasons we've already mentioned before. Okay, so take that into your books as well, and contact me if you're stuck on any of the tasks, or if you're unsure of what to do, or if you're just feeling overwhelmed, or anything else like that is absolutely fine. But otherwise, best of luck. Contact me if needed, and remember to upload the work to Frog.